Hello, 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 and welcome to today's live training session. We are talking about and exploring today a very real conversation that happens for a lot of coaches and consultants. And it goes something like this. And let me just add something into the stream so that you can get a chance to see this here too, because this really is sort of the crux of what I hear over and over and over again. And if you're feeling this, do me a favor, put it in the chat because I'd love to know if this is something that you struggle with because a lot of coaches and consultants in the online space do, right? There is a belief that one on one clients get better results. If you believe that's true, hit me with a comment, say hello, tell me you're out there, whether you're watching it live or on the replay, because this, my friend, is kind of like the differentiator between whether or not you can scale the business you want to scale, right? Whether or not you can have more clients in your life, create more impact in your life. And quite frankly, for me, it was the thing that made my business um, salvageable, I guess is the best way to say it, and let me sleep at night. Because I'm like most people, right? I'm like most people. And if we haven't had a chance to meet yet, let me just say a quick hello and introduce myself. Because here, well, actually, even before I do that, I'm getting like ahead of myself. I want to just say, if you're thinking that that's true today, it's actually not. I know the belief is out there, right? But what if I could convince you, or what if I could open your eyes and show you that there is a way through group training programs that you could actually be able to serve clients at the same level, if not even better in some ways than what you can do when it comes to private training? That is absolutely what we are going to be talking about today. And do me a favor, say hello, say this is for me. Tell me that this is something that's in your business right now. Let me know what you believe in the chat. I would love to hear from you. And if we haven't had a chance to meet yet, let me say hello. I'm Susan Gaddy. I am the host of a Facebook group. If you're in the Facebook group, Training That Transforms, I run a training consulting company. We're a learning solutions company. We work with mid-sized businesses to help create training programs that actually create revenue and results in your business. That's something we're super, super proud of. And we have another division that works specifically with 7 and 8 figure entrepreneurs and those on the journey to that space of 7 and 8 figure entrepreneur. And, I believe that there is such a false impression about how do you actually create longevity in your company and scale your business, regardless of the type of business that you're building. And so before we dive into the my PowerPoint just shut down too. So that's a real bummer because I love the slides that I have prepared for you today too. It's kicking back up. But before we dive into that, do me a favor, if you're live or if you're watching this on the replay, just pop in the chat really quick. Do you consider yourself a coach or a consultant? Do you find yourself to be in the coach or the consultant space? And I love to really work with this population, especially from an entrepreneurial standpoint, because I have been in that space for a very long time. I have operated an online business, consulting business, and recently coaching business in this space now for over 15 years. But I'm relatively new, even though I pride myself in creating some of the best training out there. I'm relatively new to having a group program myself. And so when we talk about, oh my goodness, I completely lost all of the work too. Hold on one second. I'm just going to bring this up so you can see it. Nope. It's actually all gone. Well, isn't that a bummer? That's all right. We're going to keep going. I'm going to show it to you anyway because I think the visual is so much fun. But I want you to think about, how are you running your business right now? And what I find, I know this was true for me. Let me know if this is true for you. Actually, I'm going to just pop it this way. Most of us in the beginning basically have like this one jar business, right? We either have a coaching company where we're working with our clients one-on-one, or we have an agency, which is what I run, which again is a one-on-one business, meaning we serve one client at a time. And, it is the least path of resistance to creating a company, which is amazing, for people like me, people like you, to be able to start a company with a skill set that you have that really helps other people, in the world to perform at even higher levels is really an amazing space to be in. I'm so grateful every single day that this is what I get to do with my time. The problem here for you is that it's a one jar company. You're a one jar company. You're a one revenue stream company, which is a really, really dangerous place to be. Again, for me, I did only agency work, right? So we would work with big clients, and here's the problem: you can only serve so many, right, with the team that you have. It's very expensive to duplicate. You can really only carry about 5 to 10 clients, depending on how extensive your agency or your coaching work is, in addition to being the CEO of your business and doing all of the things that a startup business or a coaching and consulting business in its early stages requires. We often don't have big teams. So staying in that one agency place is actually very dangerous, because if you pull this one stream of income out, if you lose a big client, any of the things that happen, you really left yourself unprotected. And so I love to think of, business from a sense of, can you have what I like to call a four jar business. So if this is new for you, tell me, how many jars do you feel like you have right now, right? So if you have an agency or a consulting practice where you work one-on-one with people, you have a one jar business, okay? If you also have a group training program where you can serve multiple people at the same time, and listen, these things look completely different depending on what you're doing. Some of you are creating automated online courses. Some of you have masterminds. Some of you have coaching programs. They run the gamut. But the goal is that you're actually serving multiple people at the same time. That's jar number 2. We love to see those in your business. Jar number 3 and 4 are almost always the most forgotten about jars. And I'm going to give you, if you walk away with nothing else today, get jar 3 and 4 in your business first. Jar 3 is referrals. So you should I encourage you, I should say, establishing yourself with people that are miles ahead of you for a couple of reasons. One is they're dependent on you for new people. You can be a great referral source to them. And a lot of times they are willing to compensate. So we do this in 2 ways. I am a part of the influencer team for my coach, Kelly Roach, and I believe in their product. I've utilized it myself. I know it gets business results. And when I meet fellow entrepreneurs that need to learn how to grow a business online, I immediately connect them to my friends at the Unstoppable Entrepreneur Program. And that's revenue for me. It's good for the relationship with the person that I've met, and it's good for me because it's revenue. Easiest money you'll ever make is to believe in somebody else's product and help support them. The second thing we do from a referral standpoint, right, is, so a lot of us are experts in a smaller space. So like business coaches have big, expansive group programs, and they often need individual experts that I will sell my signature Disruptive Spark training content to bigger programs. It's been a great revenue stream, really one that's just duplicate. It's on, rinse, and repeat. It gets me exposure. So it's a win-win, right? Exposure to new people. So if you don't have that mason jar in your network, I highly recommend you get that in your network. And then the last mason jar over here, and I'm so sorry that none of these have the title. Literally, this is live TV, and my PowerPoint went down and I lost all of the things I had just created. Oh, well, so it happens, right? We're making do. But mason jar number 4 is my jar that I call, that's going to be a little extra. So if you're out there, if you're watching on the replay, how many little extras show up all the time in your business, right? Oh, I want to do Facebook ads. Oh, I need to hire a VA. Oh, I need to have this workbook created. Oh my goodness, I didn't know that I needed professional headshots done. Like on and on and on and on and on, the little extras go. And quite frankly, a lot of times those little extras take your profit. They steal your profit. Our margins are so small, especially in the beginning, that having a bucket of that's going to be a little extra for those extra expenses is hugely important. And the easiest thing you can do to make that happen is to create templates, mini courses, write a book, right? Anything like that. We call those small things that you can automate, put on rinse and repeat. That's going to be a little extra. So, like, why am I spending all this time talking to you, Susan? I thought you were here to tell me more about how I can make a group training program because I want to explain why it's necessary, right? So, I get that you might not know how to create a group training program, but that doesn't mean that it's not possible. And what I find to be so, so true that's happening right now in the online space, especially in the course creation, group program training market, is that it's really being dominated by experts in marketing and sales. And I know why that is. And it's a good thing because there's no sense in having a group program you can't sell. It's a business drainer, it's not a business energizer, right? And it is actually very challenging to learn how to sell a group training program. So you need to absolutely only create group training products that you can sell. Most ideas in our heads, quite frankly, aren't saleable, and it will probably take you 2 to 3 to 4 tries to find the idea that hits. So please don't give up. If you've tried the group training thing before and it didn't work for you, it's either because the audience wasn't right, the content wasn't right, the style wasn't right, right? If you can't get the group training program off the ground, it's not because your ideas are bad. You just haven't found the sweet spot where it's what the audience wants and what they're willing to buy. But what nobody is training, and what's probably nearest and dearest to my heart, is it's not enough to have a saleable program. You have to have a saleable program that gets results. Someone put that in the chat for me. It has to get your client results. We spend all of our time figuring out how to craft something that we can sell, and we don't invest any of our time in the beginning in how the heck am I going to service this? How am I going to help mass amounts of people get results? Right? Do I have the team in place for that? We're simply not equipped. We simply haven't learned. And quite frankly, there's very few people actually talking about what it takes to make a group program successful. First step is to sell it. I'm totally down with that. But if you can't get people to the finish line and deliver on your promise, then you will constantly be in this need to sell, 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 sell. And at some point, you should be able to take your foot off the gas on the sell, 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 because your program is so good, your participants are getting such good results that they become your best referral sources. And we all know, again, put it in the chat for me. I'm not a business strategist, but I can tell you my best referrals, the deals I close with the least amount of work and stress are from the people who know me, or the people who came recommended to me. So when you have a client, it is literally your mission in life to figure out how to work with them so that they get the best result from you. That is the number one thing you can do for yourself. So for those of you that are still with us, I promised you a tip. Now, this is something that we only sell. I rarely give this information away for free, but it came up in 3 different conversations this week with other people, and I feel like it's a service to the world. So if you have a group training program, or you're considering building a group training program, or for those of you that are in the midst of it and all of a sudden the chaos, the group, I call it the group program chaos, has hit you, then it's only because you haven't learned a couple of techniques that you really, really need. And that's what my team and I do inside the Disruptive Spark Mastermind. I'm going to share one of those tips with you today. If you find it helpful, put it in the chat, because I want to make sure that this is information that is truly valuable to you. But I also encourage you, if this tip helps you in any way, I've got so much more of them, and I want to invite you to have a conversation with me. So here's the tip. And again, I'm so sorry that none of this is on the screen for you to see, which makes it easier to remember, but here we are, right? So here's the tip. Milestones, 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 milestones. Write it down. Milestones, milestones, milestones. When you work with someone one-on-one, you are like having an ongoing relationship, right? When you have a bigger program that's either automated or has, 25 people, 50 people, 100 people, you need systems in place to see where progress is, and milestones create that for you. So we teach people how to create a program that's either step-based or system-based. It's a conversation for another day, which one and for who and why and all those good things. But I want you to just think of it this way. Is your program based on steps? So they need to achieve a certain number of steps to hit the ultimate goal? Or is it based on systems? So I need to understand how this system works with this system in order for this system to match this system. Either way, within the steps and within the systems is a very clear path of the many steps you need to achieve that will keep you on the path and moving towards that outcome. That's what a milestone does for you. And I'm going to just take it a little bit deeper for those of you at the end of the bus who are smart enough to stick around. What you can do with your Kajabi sites and your Thinkific sites is you create that as a line item. So when someone achieves that first mini milestone, right, they go in and they check it off. And so what you can do on the back end of your system is you can track progress that way. Yep, you can measure and you can track progress that way. You have to set it up that way. But once you set it up, once you get the milestones and you set it up that way, you can run reports all day long about who is achieving those milestones, when are those milestones happening, how much of your population is achieving milestones, what are individual people doing. And here's the other thing we do, is even another tip, is that we unlock content. So we don't give you all of the content. It creates overwhelm and it puts people in a place where they'll just go find other things to do instead of the thing they should be doing. We give them one thing to do. And when they achieve that one thing, they unlock the next step. And so we know exactly where you are in the process. We know exactly whether or not you're hitting your goals. And it's our advisories team job to check in with you and celebrate what's working and figure out how to solve what's not. So there's your hot tip for the day. If you do not have milestones set up in your group program, you will have chaos. You will not know if people are hitting their goals. You will not know if there's an issue with your, like a systemic issue in your training program, or whether it's an individual person issue. Setting up this milestones and tracking that. And if you haven't gotten to like a Kajabi, Thinkific, you don't need all that fancy software, by the way. It's easy. It makes your life easier. But if you're not using it, then don't spend the money for it. You can do an Excel spreadsheet. Do an Excel spreadsheet and set up the key milestones and track your people that way. So my friends, I hope this was super, super helpful for you. Thank you for letting me spend some time with you today. Do me a favor, put it in the chat. Was this a good one? Yes or no? Did this help you? Do you think you could recreate milestones for yourself? And you know what, if I had to say anything, I would really say to you, how can you make sure that you are really creating a 4-container system in your business so that your business is here for the long term? Have an amazing day, and I look forward to seeing you again right here next Thursday at 12 o'clock.